All right. Do you want to try the next one?
The Viognier.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
I will.
All right, well, I'll start talking about it while Craig pours because this one I put into my glass. So as Damien was tasting the Peak Bowl and saying, this is amazing, you have to try it, I was tasting the Viognier and just like going into a zen state because I was thinking the same thing. I immediately love this wine. It is also on the sweet side, which is not how I think of Viogniers. I think of them being a little funky. And this one is sweeter, but it's still got that clean finish to it. And tropical fruit, clean finish, super delicious. I really loved it.
Cheers. Right. It looks lovely. It's a really nice light yellow color, just like a straw color. Just beautiful little wine.
I don't know what he does, but almost all of his white wines have that like semi-effervescent nature to it. Like it's just on the verge. Like it could be a bubbly, but it's not. Mm-hmm. Great acid. Like, really well, very well balanced. I mean, it's just when she was trying this and I was trying the other one, and we were like bantering back and forth through whites, and meanwhile Craig is sitting over there quiet and pensive going through his red wines, and I think he loved it. Two of them. So it's one of those places where you go in and they have fun murals on the wall. The place was hopping when we showed up.
It was.
And it's just one of those places where you go in there and you could sit down and you could easily spend an afternoon talking with Thomas. He also has some Montana wines, which I'm sure we'll be featuring at some point in time. Because who knew you could grow a wine in Montana? So.
Apparently only Tom, because as he told me when I interviewed him last week, so folks should watch for those coming out. But when I interviewed him last week, he told me that he opened the first winery in Montana.
There you go. Yeah.
So he is the one who thought it was possible. He's from Montana, I believe he said, so he wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Well, so this one, I'm comparing this one to the last one we were having, where the other one was a lot more acidic and a lot sharper, a lot more citrus to it. Mm-hmm. This one's much milder, so almost finishes a little basic, almost a little, just a light basic into it. So it leaves such a different feel. It's a different way of it sits in your tongue. I mean, just the whole thing is a little different.
But it has some underlying similarities too. You know, the mouthfeel has just got this lush, velvety mouthfeel. This one doesn't quite have as much acid, but I still think it would hold up really well to food.
Yes, I know the website says it'll go well with seafood, with fish, I think specifically in Asian cuisine.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So like this instead of a sake with like sushi or something like that would be amazing.
Yeah, it would.
Right. Like a sweet little pad thai. Would be really good with it
that
too.
Would be.
Right. Something not too spicy, because this isn't going to cut the spice the same way as the Pic Blanc would. But this is delicious.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, we found nothing but great wine since that happened.
Yeah. We were like, so should we just buy them all now, or should we spread it out over the time, or what should we do? And so it's one of those. It's pretty rare when you go to a tasting room and you literally don't have a bad wine. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was what was shocking to me, because it's Zilla, so sometimes you do come across some places, but this one was definitely not one of those. And when we were asking him about other places, he was just so knowledgeable. Is really what really spoke out. I mean, from going to Napa through the 70s, and then pretty early on coming to Washington and working through all the Washington vineyards that were the staples of this area, and then just deciding I want to do my own thing after a while and breaking off and doing Tanjuli. And his white wines by far have been some of my favorite white wines I've found in Washington. And I don't say that lightly. Like I have lots of wines that I enjoy, but this one had a pretty good representation all the way across the board. So it's very fitting for our first wine takeover. So
right. I think if we hadn't found such a good winemaker and such a good pairing of wines, I think we would have probably struggled to move forward with a wine takeover so early and really featuring an individual winemaker and winery. So I think it was about finding the right pair. When we went in there, and some winemakers right there are the celebrity winemakers. So they're about them and they're about their story. He's not pretentious. He's just chill. I mean, I think he was serving along with everybody else. We mentioned that we were interested in something, and so like, oh, we'll send you over the winemaker. Well, all right. And he just came over because he was serving someone else. We just came over and hung out with us for a while and just talked us through. But the winery is when we first visited, actually they were maybe open for like a year.
Yeah.
When they opened about a decade ago, and we've been out. Zillow was one of our favorite places to taste. Our very first wine tour that Emily and I ever went on was actually in Zilla. And so of course we got a special place in our heart. But when you come back after you've gotten a lot more experience, you understand better what you're tasting and what you're not. I think that was a really fun exploration to come back to some of these places and realize that some of the places we really liked, we still really like.
Yeah.
I think Tanjuli was, at the time, I think we bought a Petit Verdot, and it was the single most expensive bottle we bought.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was like that was a while ago, in our 20s or
early
30s.
Late 20s.
Yeah, late
Maybe
20s.
early 30s.
And so when I say drop a lot of money on wine, it wasn't a lot of money. It was a lot of money for us. It felt like a lot of money.
Yeah.
New parents and
Yeah, exactly.
In my early 20s, I was drinking, Chateau Ste. Michelle because I wasn't a big wine fan early on. And as you progress through and taste through and continue to grow your palate, it's pretty impressive to be able to have something that you try super early on, and then you come back after you've had a lot of time to like learn a little bit more about wine and still find one of my favorite ones. I can't drink Chateau Ste. Michelle anymore because it's just a big starburst sugar bomb. But that's speaks to the winemaker. I don't think there's really very many people in our area that probably have more experience than Thomas.
I don't think so either.
And if you look through his resume, he's been at lots of the big ones when they were big. And that kind of speaks volumes. And he still works with lots of different vineyards to this day, but he has a couple little playthings. He's at that point in his life where he's like, I just want to make the wine I want to make, and I like drinking it.
Exactly. And yeah, he can play with fun varietals anytime, and I will drink them because they are delicious.